Yeah. Can you guys see that? Okay, set. So effective communication in the aged care setting. So setting the stage for effective communication. Most of us view our communication as an instructive skill or capability. We talk, write, and use body language to express ourselves and assume that we are communicating. The fact is, over 50% of our communication attempts are not heard or understood. So most of us view communication as an instinctive skill or capability. Okay, the reason why it's such a skill and capability is because most people can get their point across and some people can't. That's why it has now been shown as a skill, right? Because getting the response that you need from the crowd that you're dealing with, okay, it deals with effective communication because anybody can communicate. Anybody can tell you this, that, but it would take like a really effective person who knows how to hold a conversation, how to hold your attention, and the points to pick on just while you're still captivated to put their point across. Okay, so that's why it's become a skill nowadays and a capability. So furthermore, we talk about talking and writing and the use of body language to be able to express themselves. Yeah? Yes, Ilaikini.
Ma'am Bula Busachau, your video appear from the top and also on the main screen. It's cover the notes. Is it?
The ones that, which one?
It was appear twice from the right hand corner, and also it appears middle of the.
On the side as well, huh?
Yeah, it's cover the note.
Okay. But can you guys see the screen?
Yes, yeah, your second screen is covering the note from the back. It was display in front, yeah.
This one, huh? Okay. Okay. This one. Okay. But can you guys see this?
Still the same. Still the same.
The PowerPoint presentation.
Still the same.
The PowerPoint presentation also appear your video there.
So using two notes.
There's a partial portion of the screen that's blocked by your second video, which is the bottom. I think you may have pinned it.
Okay, hold on.
If you check your setting, you may have pinned it. That's why it's popping on the side again. So we can see two of you on the top bar, and then there's like a pop-up on the side as well.
I want to make you guys obsessed with me. That's why I am playing up with you.
I mean,
it's very demure of me. Sorry, guys. Oh, let me work on that. There we go.
Just continue.
There we go. Set it.
Still the same.
Thank you, Priyanka.
But it'll work. It'll work. Don't worry, because you're reading the notes. It's fine. It's fine.
No, but you guys can see set it.
From our view, ma'am, our view, we can only see the first and the second paragraph. The rest start to communication over 50% understood. The last 3 line was behind your screen.
Okay. Wait, what about now? Better?
Okay. Check your Viber. I've sent you what we can see.
Thanks.
That is what we can see on the screen.
So I may stop tuning to. Man, this message is so slow. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. Yeah. But that means you guys didn't see the notes, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. But you guys can see it now, right?
No, madam.
Okay, then what about that, chat?
Madam, just leave it. We just continue.
Yeah, madam.
Happy Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday. Happy Thursday.
Okay, hold on.
Trouble Thursday, madam. Let's start. Go.
Okay, set. Priyanka is like Okay, so we talked about communication, writing, talking, writing, and the use of body language to express yourselves and assume that you are communicating. Okay, so writing, talking, and the use of body language is 3 ways that a person can communicate. That's why some people can communicate through their writings, the stories that they make. And how established a writer can be is how well people take it and visualize it. An example are comics, all right? There's a visual representation of what a person imagines. Have you guys watched the movie Blake Lively stars in It Ends With Us? It's actually based on a, yes? No? It's actually based on a book which I read like way back in 20, I'm not sure, back in uni that I read that book. And it was so interesting that I had seen the preview and I was like, wow, could this be the same movie? And then when I heard the lines, then some of the lines were brought from the book. And yeah, because the book was about domestic violence. And then when I had watched the snippet of it, it was just basically like a romantic romance movie, and I was like, what? So when I actually watched it, and I was like, no, it still had the same message, but it wasn't really about their whole promotion wasn't about domestic violence, even in the preview. So that is also a form of communication. What are you communicating with the viewers? What are you communicating with the people that's following you? What are you communicating? Are you giving out positive vibes? Are you giving safe vibes? What are you actually saying? All right. And that goes to show that not everybody, you may be talking verbally, but then by your body expressions, by your facials, people might be getting a different vibe from you, a different communication from you. So the fact is, over 50% of our communication attempts are not heard or understood. And that's just a scary place to be. I believe that everybody has a unique way of communicating, but everybody should come to a level of understanding on how to communicate effectively. And that comes down to either morality and values. But then again, that's different. That's for another set of conversation. So when we move on to our next slide, hopefully that's the only picture that you see and nothing else. All right. Okay. So take a screenshot of this. So if you have notes already, yeah. So yeah, there's a guy with an amplifier. There's 2 people on different sides communicating. And do you think they don't look happy? They look like they're frowning. And then towards the end, these look like the same people. They're waving at each other and they're more happy. So just look at that. Okay, and as we move on, so as we move on, I think this picture would make more sense to you. So in the top, what do you think this is about? What do you think it represents? The top, the amplifier, and she's like, her body language is just like, yeah. What do you think that amplifies? Huh?
He's making an announcement.
He's making an announcement. Yes. Thank you, Ruby. Anyone else? No. Yeah. Continue. More. Sorry, here. Okay, like Kini.
Ma'am, the first one, he's making communication for far people staying very far. So he used a loud that thing for
amplifier.
Yeah, and then the next one, the RU communication, the RU network communication, and the third one is physical communication or body language, sign language.
Yes.
Thank you.
Body language, sign language. Yes. Okay. So amplifier, speaking from far away so she can hear. Second is through a virtual reality, and third is physical, like you said, sign language. Yes, that is also correct. Anyone else has a different point of view on what they see?
Madam,
Yes, Priyanka.
the second one, from my point of view, I can see they're angry, like aggression.
Yes.
And
They
the
do
third one,
look
they're
angry.
trying to communicate with sign language or something like hi, hi.
Yes, thank you, Priyanka. Thank you. Yes. Okay. That's all correct answers. That is very, very well observant of you guys. And there are no wrong answers. There are no wrong answers when discussing what you see, because everybody has a different point of view. And yes, there was a virtual reality and they were like, hi, like they look like they're trying to reconcile whatever they were arguing online. But when you put yourself in this situations, right? If you were to put yourself, if you were these people, have you ever got into a heated argument via text or via emailing? Just
Yes.
popping up. Yes, yes, Priyanka. Like Kini, his hands up. This is the old one or the new one? Okay. Yeah. You know, just via you're fighting online and you're just there's an exchange of words back and forth. Married couples have this, where probably there was a disagreement at home, and then because of work they didn't have time to discuss it, and then when they're at work they settle down, at least they were early, and then they start blah 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 blah, okay, through Viber or whatever. They just go, okay. You didn't put out the dinner, you didn't wait for me, that's because you didn't wash your dishes the last time, so I stopped doing that for you. Whatever it is, okay? But as soon as they come back from work, hi, I missed you. All the craziness is just at the point. There's a different kind of sense of calmness when you see your person again, okay? Without the virtual screen, okay? Because the virtual screen, as you can know, it leaves room for more liabilities, more imaginations that doesn't really help or bring in solutions. So while you're splurting out what you want to splur out, there's other things not connected to the argument coming in, and it's influencing, and you just go, and without before you know it, within 2 hours time, there's a big damage, and you're just like, man, but this person's gonna come back home. Okay, graciously, there's some people that deal with it really well. Okay, there's forgiveness, and they communicate better when they see each other. Or when they see each other, they completely forget and they sweep things under the carpet. I mean, people are different with how they communicate. So that could be one of the things that this image means. It could mean different to everybody else. Or there's this layman term that everybody's using now, the keyboard warrior. You know, how you're just like, you know, posting, but when you see them in real life, you just walk past. So the screen gives you a sense of courage that you didn't know you had. So please do not be those people. Be upfront about what you talk about so you can communicate effectively. Okay. Next, man, my screen is not screening. Hiya. Yeah. Okay, you guys can see the second screen. Has it moved from the image?
No.
No, it hasn't.
Same like before.
Oh man.
Madam, you're still in the middle of the notes.
Wow. Okay, wait, but is it onto the second screen? Onto the second slide?
Yes, second slide. A gentleman orders a coffee.
Okay. Gentleman orders a coffee in a crowded room. A young woman in a line behind him shoots a withering look at a rambunctious toddler tugging on her coat. From the radio blares an advertisement for a one-day sale at the mall. At a nearby table, a deaf couple signs to each other, while a teenager in the corner busily texts a friend on his cell phone. These situations all have one thing in common. They all involve communication, which is in its all different forms. the rambunctious toddler tugging on her coat, right? That is physical communication because the toddler is not able to articulate words yet or understand what is size, shape, how to say mama. They haven't done that yet. So tugging, physical touch. A gentleman orders a coffee in a crowded room that requires him to be louder, okay? That requires him to step out of his comfort zone. If this gentleman never speaks so loudly, today he has to learn how to talk loudly because he needs to get his order. While a teenager in the corner busily texts his friend. Texting is more common with the younger generation than it is for the older generation. Nobody has the time to read, okay? Everybody's just like, oh, for the older generation, but the younger generation, they like to text because it's silent, it's quiet, and it's more faster. So as you see, different generation, there's a different form that's more relevant to them and more efficient to them, things that we all need to take into consideration. The crowd that we're talking to as well, to be able to communicate effectively. This all is a form of communication. Understanding them is the basic thing that I'm trying to put across is knowing the crowd that you're talking to and the effective communication that they use. So you can also speak the same language to them to be able to put your point across. All right. Communication. Okay. By the end of this discussion, you should be already be able to discuss, define the word communication, discuss the goals for effective communication, understand communication's process. Sorry. Okay, understand the communication process, discuss communication types, list levels of communication, and 6 barriers of communication. And now, before we dive into the notes, what do you think are the barriers of communication? We all communicate, but what do you think is the, what do you think is the barrier of communication?
Language?
Language barrier, yes. Language is one of the barriers of communication, especially when you don't speak their language and you're just sitting there like, he's like, couldn't understand, yeah. And they're just like all squashed up in one corner. But you go around me, and then someone goes, and they're like, shit. So yes, language could be a barrier. Anything else do you guys think would be a barrier to communication? Okay, Lakini.
Ma'am, it's your response to a question or your response. If you respond based on your feeling, and also when you are silent, you're silent. If you are they need something from you and you are not paying attention, and then you just keep your mouth shut and do whatever you want to do. And also the way you translate, the way you say something, like you can say, hello, please give me that, please give me that. You can say it in how do you say how you translate you say the word, a sentence, speak the sentence. Give me that. You can base on an angry tone, or you can talk slowly, the way you express someone's feeling, so that they can understand you and they can also listen to us when we say something. You can just your tone, a tone when you talking, maybe. Sorry.
No, thank you so much for that, Ilaikini. Yes, I totally understand what you're talking about your tone, about how you respond to people. That you could be being polite, but because your tone is different, it could give in the wrong impression. An example that I could give on what Ilaikini is trying to talk about is that if you grew up in a house full of 8 siblings, if you had 8 siblings growing up, so you're always rowdy, you're always, give me this, give me that, but you still love your siblings to the death of you. You still do what what is best for them. But because of your tone and you grew up in that environment and you're so used to talking in that manner, when you come out of that environment and you're speaking to people, they'll be like, oh my gosh, this person is very aggressive compared to a person who just grew up with one parent, okay, who is one parent and they're just always soft-spoken and everything is so easygoing. So when they come out and they actually communicate or they hear another person talking that way who had a different environment setting growing up, they'll be so shocked. They might think, this person does not like me. I woke up, they woke up on the wrong side of bed, but the other person's like, I grew up like this is normal. Okay, it's boring. No one, we had to fight for a place. So it's really interesting how things are, how environment, control the conditions of how they communicate, okay, on how they perceive information, which is really interesting. Thank you so much. And I think Shelley had put in the chat, she talked about physical barriers. Okay, yes, Shelley, physical barriers as well can come into effect because if we're talking about virtual reality, there's a new thing that's coming in. Virtual reality is basically on, this is what we're doing at the moment. We're doing a virtual reality class. We're doing a virtual class where we're in the comfort of our own homes and we're all tuned in just so we can have a class that is virtual reality. Priyanka Prasad says emotional. Okay, how barriers to communication, emotional tools, I think linguistic, yes, linguistic as well. But for emotional, I think it's because if you're still grieving or if you have a grudge or anything and someone tries to communicate their feelings or to justify something because of the emotional attachments that you have towards a certain belief, it'll be hard for you to adapt, accept another person's reality, even though if it's relevant to the current situation, which we will talk about when we go more into this, more into this topic, which is really interesting. All right, 6. Why is it so slow? Okay, so define communication and communication skills. So communication is the process by which information is exchanged by words, symbols, signs, and body language, which we've already talked about. Linguistic, emotional, physical barriers. Okay, the tone of your voice is the process by which information is changed by. Okay, it's changing information. Have you eaten? No, I haven't eaten. Okay, do you have the notes? Yes, I've received the notes. No, I have not received the notes. Exchange of information is communication. Okay, communication is the act of conveying information for the purpose of creating a shared understanding. Now, that is the main purpose, a shared understanding. But some people, after they've conveyed their information, the understanding is still not shared. It's just one-sided. It's just, okay, you have your opinion, I have mine, that's it. Okay? But that has to do with your own sets of beliefs and what you believe. So that is moral to you, maybe. Some people have their moral compass making their decisions. Some people have their gut making their decisions. Some people have somewhat their emotions making the choices for them, whether to believe you or whether not to believe you. And some people just have the Holy Spirit. So yeah. Yeah, okay. The ability to communicate more effectively and competently by better understanding the communication process. Our abilities and techniques used to exchange information, ideas, and feelings effectively. Okay, the first part, it talks about competently by better understanding the communication process. When we understand how does the communication process goes, then we're able to communicate effectively. The abilities and techniques used to exchange information, ideas, and feelings effectively, like I had talked about in the beginning, anybody can communicate. Anybody can say anything. Right now, I'm communicating to you. But what makes it that I'm effective? That the information that I'm talking about that you're grasping. that when you're listening to me, you're actually gonna remember this. What am I doing different from everybody else? Because you could be somewhere else. Okay. Okay, it involves expressing yourself clearly, listening actively. Did you know active listening is actually a skill? Active listening is actually a skill that not everybody possesses, which is really, really a need that we need to perfect, especially in this area of caregiving, active listening, to be able to listen to your clients, to be able to pay attention to them. Understanding nonverbal cues. Nonverbal cues varies from your client to the country that you're in, the background setting, whatever traditions that have kept your client. So their verbal cues are different. America, overseas, Western countries, the moment you are able to look them in the eye, you're keeping eye contact. When you're keeping eye contact, that means you're confident, okay? Whereas in the Pacific, in our culture, if you were to keep eye contact, that'd be very disrespectful. You know, I know some people getting that telling off when they're getting that telling off, and they'll be like, "What you still looking at? Why are you still looking at me?" You know, they're encouraged to look at the wall, look at the floor. Okay, that shows respect. See, Priyanka is laughing. Yeah, when you grow up in a brown household, it's different. But overseas, if you don't look them in the eye, that means you're sketchy, you're sus, you're suspicious. So that's why it's very important. That's why I had mentioned nonverbal communication, nonverbal cues, sorry. You have to understand your client's culture, where they grow up, and what does their cue mean. So you're able to effectively communicate and understand them. Yeah. Okay. Encompass verbal and nonverbal communication and proficiency in various digital platforms like email and social media as well. This is a form of digital. This is a form of digital platform. Zoom is a digital platform. All right. Verbal and nonverbal communications. Proficiency in the platforms. Just how to greet people through emails. Because yes, being a caregiver, you're just mostly looking after people. But if you're planning on going overseas, there is a need to be professional, a need to be able to address people, especially if you're sending out emails, if you're writing out documents, if you're doing documentation. There is a lingo in the Black and white world. So there's a special language that keeps the caregiving community together. Okay, communication process, the systematic process in which individuals interact with and through symbols to create and interpret meanings in particular context, is a continuous and dynamic sequence of stages involved in the successful changes of messages between a sender and a receiver. All right, can everybody, let me see if I can do something here. Okay. Okay, if you were to look at your chat, I don't have it. Why do I know? Oh, here it is. Yeah. Okay. Can you see my screen? My screen is so slow. Sorry. My internet is so slow. Okay, look at the chat box, everybody. And set. What am I sending?
Emojis, party favors,
Party
reactions.
face.
Buddy, I'm sad. I'm like, wow. Okay.
Wow.
Dynamic sequence of stages. Wow. Yes. Wow. Involved in successful exchanges of messages between sender and receiver. If I'm sending this to you guys in the group chat while in class, you're confused, right? We're having a class and yet I'm sending party. I'm sad. I'm reacting. Wow. This is another form of symbolism. Because of the digital era, we have changed it to emojis. Nice, eh? So I don't really have to tell you I'm sad. I just have to send a crying emoji and then, you know, oh my gosh, she's sad. And you don't have to know if it's my birthday unless and until I put a party thing next to probably my age. Then you'll be like, oh my gosh, it's her birthday and she turns this age. You didn't find out from a long post. I didn't post any sentences, just the party thingy and then just a number. So that is what it means to interact with symbols, to create, interpret meanings in a particular context. Okay, but the context, your symbols should reflect the context of what you're trying to say. Okay, that's just emojis and birthday wishes. Oh, think about the Christian, the symbolism of the Christians. What did they use? How do you know if someone's a Christian?
Cross.
The cross, yes, the cross is a symbol for Christians. How do you know women are married and they're Hindu? What do you see on their body?
Women apply red color on their forehead.
Yes, the tika. Yes, then you know, okay, she's married and she's Hindu. I'm married, but I don't have a tika. But then she has a ring, so she must be Fijian. But if I am brown and I have a tika like this, then she must have married an Indian guy. That is how you are, that is symbolism. That is how you interpret symbolism. That's what you do every day. When you're just looking at people, you're interpreting. There is communication even with the clothes that you wear. Even how you carry yourself, you're communicating a message. What are you communicating? Am I married? What is my ethnicity? What do I believe? All right. Okay. Okay. I'm not having a meltdown. Okay, here we go. Okay, the communication process. Okay, the communication process cycle typically includes the following phases: sender's input, message transmission, message reception, receiver's response, feedback transmission, and the iteration and adjustment. Okay, when you see these, when you see these, do you think you can? Do you think you've ever been part of this in your everyday living? What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. In your everyday living, okay. In your everyday living, how do you think? Who do you? Okay, if you're the sender's input, who do you send messages to? Let's say, in your household. When I'm talking about sending messages, who do you send messages to? Who lives with you?
Send message to partners, parents, updating
Message
the
to
time when
partner.
we are coming in, going out, what to cook for dinner.
What to cook for dinner? All right. That is
Even
right.
when we go into group discussions, then we input.
Okay. Yes, that is so right, Priyanka. When you're inputting, even in discussions, okay, the transmission, okay, it's how you are relaying the messages, okay, how you're relaying it. Yeah, the message reception, how are they taking it? And what is the receiver's response? How are they responding? Are they responding positively? Are they responding effectively? When their response, is it really reaching the point that you want them to reach? Or is it just feeble? Okay. The iteration and adjustment, it's what you do with the information. Once there is a common understanding, do you guys adjust to the change? Or are you guys still, we'll come to that. Okay, this is what it looks like. Okay, the communication process. Oh my God, there we go. The communication process cycle, iteration in the adjustment, receiver's response, feedback transmission. So this is a chain of messages. Sender's input, then it goes through a transmission, then a reception. They will take time to process the information that you gave, and then they will respond. And when they're responding, they will there'll be a feedback and then goes back into send again, iteration, adjustment, if there needs to be adjustment. These are just fancy terms that people put in just to talk about everyday conversations, everyday communication. Right, this one. Okay, goals of effective communication. Now, what are the goals? The goals of effective communication is to send clear, concise messages. Hear and correctly understand messages sent to you. So there's only 2 goals of effective communication, and I want you to embed that. This is like, remember that for the rest of your life. There's only 2 points on why people to communicate: to send clear, concise messages and to be able to hear them. Okay, to be able to verbally or sign language it. Okay, however that you communicate, whatever information that you're giving out, whether it's positive, whether it's obviously it should positive, it should be concise and clear. Hearing correctly and understanding messages sent to you. That means active listening is also a skill. This is something that every caregiver should have, being able to speak concisely and clearly and to be able to understand and hear correctly. Because this is one of the problems that we face in our now generation, is that if you were to tell me something and I answer you with like a whole different answer to a question you never really asked, do you think that's effective communication? No, you'll be confused. My goal as a listener is to be able to effectively arrive to the answer that you need to have. Your goal as a person asking a question, as your person putting out a boundary or putting out a message out there, is to be able to be concise and clear. 2 reasons. 2 goals of effective communication: to be able to be concise and clear, direct about anything you talk about, and to be able to listen and hear messages correctly. 2, I will come back to that. Okay, effective communication image. Communication is like a tennis game. The ball is communication, goes back and forth the net. If the ball is returned, you are communicating. If not returned, you are only sending messages, right? Did you guys understand that term? Did you guys understand it?
Yes.
Okay, so it's more of like a one-sided conversation, where to have a communication there needs to be 2 people talking, but if not, you're just sending messages, so that is not communicating. You could say you communicated with them, but because there was no response, but because there was no output from the receiver, there was no feedback, you were just blankly sending messages, nothing more than that. Just like me when I'm just talking, that's why I ask for you to send a sign. Can you see the screen? Can you hear me? And you guys give me feedback with yes, or you guys send me emojis, or you guys send in texts, and then I know, okay, I'm in the clear. These guys understand me. These guys know what I'm doing. Okay, back and forth process. How many times do we need to send messages and assume that the other person has received and understood the message? So how many times do you think you need to be sending messages back and forth?
One time.
1, Priyanka, you have really
Like sometimes
supportive.
when you message something, we just put the heart there. That's like we assume that you have received.
It
I hope you're
depends on
talking
the
about your boss.
severity of the conversation.
True. Okay, so Ruby talks about the severity, and Priyanka says if he gives a heart, that means that's the end. And
Oh,
Ruby
no.
is like the severity. If it depends on the severity, that means what? You guys need to talk about points.
Depends on the content of the conversation and what needs to be done, like if it's a discussion, it needs more than just one reply.
True. Okay, it needs more than one reply. Okay, so what Ruby and Priyanka said were both correct. Now, these two people are two different people. I cannot compare Priyanka's perception of communication and then compare it to Ruby, because according to Priyanka, that's what she's comfortable with, what she's grown up with, and that's all it takes for her. Just as long as he gives me that's it. That means he's got the message. But for Ruby, she feels the need to be able to discuss. She feels the need to be able to talk about this, talk about that. What is the pros and the cons of things, and then to be able to make a choice. Or whatever it is, there has to be more than one discussion. And that is not wrong either. Everybody is different. Some people, one conversation is enough. Me, especially me. For me, one conversation is enough. If you want to change it, then that's on you. But Ruby likes to have a more in-depth conversation, which is also correct. So yeah, everybody is unique. Now, if Ruby and Priyanka were to have a conversation, now I'm not going to put Ruby and Priyanka as a conversation. Let's say student A and student B have a conversation. And yeah, so student A likes to have lots of discussions. Student B is a easy talker, just one. That's her process. That's her process, just one talk. And student B likes to have multiple discussions. Do you think student B who likes multiple discussions will be at peace if everybody just has one thing and then like, do you think that person will be at peace? No, because that's not her way of communication. That is not how she talks. That is not how she processes information. That's not how she processes information. And that's how it is. To be effective, you need to know who your listeners are. You need to know how they process information, like Eli Kimi had talked about yesterday. You know, I'm going to explain to my client, Okay, but how are you going to explain to your client? Mr. Jenkins yesterday was a ex-teacher. So what a teacher? Teachers like colorful things. Teachers like presentations. So you just go in and you tap into that. And you be like, this is this, this is that. Razzle dazzle. So you could, and if student B who one talks, do you think the information would be accepted by student A who likes to have diverse content? No, she won't. She won't take that information. Because how will she process it? She'll be overthinking other alternatives, other things. But student B is like, nah, I'm done. So there, even though there was a form of communication, it wasn't effective. It was not effective. Okay, until both parties acknowledge the back and forth process, there is no communication. Just what we had discussed. You saw that, Ruby and Priyanka, how I just did that, right? So exchange of words or signals. Okay, types of communication. Now this one here. Okay, types of communication. There is verbal, what is said, non-verbal, what your body says, and paraverbal, the way it is said. Okay, what is said, what is not said, and how it is said also plays a role of communication. So that's 3. Okay, verbal versus non-verbal. Okay, guys, just hold on. I just turn on the lights on my end. Apologies. Sorry. I'm home alone. All the children is all out for the break, so that's why I had no one to order. So, okay, back to verbal and non-verbal. Okay, verbal, guys, it relies on the use of spoken or written words to convey messages. Requires the use of a particular language, including grammar, vocabulary to convey meaning. It is often conscious and intentional. We choose our words and structure to provide explicit and precise information through words. It allows for detailed explanation and can convey complex ideas. Okay, that is the breakdown of the verbal communication. Okay, grammar, vocabulary to convey messages. writing is very, very profound and powerful. What you write, there's a saying that goes, the pen is mightier than the sword. It's because, you know, how a person's character is built based on what is written, or an article that you write in the newspaper can change the whole country's state of mind concerning an issue. You could say that certain person is this. The whole country reads it and they just go for that person the next day. One of the common examples, one of the best examples I can give is ChatGPT. You know, that is just people posting content, and it's all written, all verbally structured, whether it's in Fijian. Okay, there it talks about language, depending on the language, whether it's English or Fijian. Okay, there is a constructive way of words that they have used to relay the information that they want. Whether it's negative or positive, there is a message, information that they're communicating out to the world. And you, as a user, when you're reading that, what are you taking in? Okay, are you having thoughts about the issue that they talk about? Yes, you are. Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it making you rethink about your own personal life, about scandals that come up? All right, and that's the real fact. That's the truth about what's actually happening in Fiji. And as you can see, verbal through the language and the grammar vocabulary, that is all part of verbal. So that is all part of communication. Provides explicit and precise information through words. It allows for detailed explanations and can convey complex ideas. Whether it's an article posted by Fiji Times, whether it's a post in ChatGPT, it's conveying an idea. That is something that a person had formulated. That is something a person had sat with, devised, took the time, and then I think this is good. Goes with this picture. Goes out there. That's scary when you come to think of it. Well, not really scary, but yeah, that is the world that we live in today. Okay, moving on to nonverbal. It relies on facial expressions, your body movement, your gestures, and other nonverbal cues. Is universal and can transcend language barriers based on visual cues that people across cultural generally understand. What the cues mean. This everybody knows. What is this? When you see me doing this, what do you think this means?
In English or in
in English?
You want to eat food.
Okay, you want to eat?
Hungry.
You want to eat?
Want to eat, or I want to punch you? See, another, I could be like, doing this, but then when I go to another culture, see, asking me understand, they're going to say, that, hey, that one, you want to punch me, you do this, do this. Do this. No, eat, yeah, see, doing it again. So
you want to eat a punch?
You want to eat the punch?
Madam,
no, we don't want to eat the punch.
Madam, the
Yes.
sign language is for everyone. Throughout the world, we are learning the same sign
Okay.
language. Or...
Sign language, not really. Okay, so the one that we learn in Fiji is the American-based one, the American-based sign language. That's English. Yeah. So I'm not sure about other countries. Maybe they do, but that'd be, I'm not sure about that. But all I know, the ones that we use is the English one. The
Okay,
one
how
based in America. Yeah.
How about
Well,
the
I think
Fiji
which is
one?
no Fiji one. The Fiji one is Fiji one. Then Priyanka and Ruby can make their class with the Fijian one. Yeah. So I mean, so when you so that is one of the things that we talked about here about visual cues that people across the cultures generally understand. Your cues understand through a cultural board, because if you're planning to go overseas, all right, You need to be able to understand the cues and not to offend these people, because you could be doing something out of your innocence, but to them, they might be in a state, okay, the conditions of your client, they might have Alzheimer's, okay, dementia. And some of those symbols, some of those cues might trigger them into thinking, oh my gosh, this person wants to kill me because when I was 6 years old, this had happened to me and they were doing the same thing, you know, they might just replay trauma. We do not know. Okay, so that's why it's really important that if you are going to try and do a cue, do something, just make your research. All right, how this person grow up, what kind of environment, okay, what is their history as a patient in that home? Are they violent? Were there triggers? What were they? Okay, did it have to do with, was it something to do with a cultural thing, or was it a religious thing? Just for your own safety and to be able to be safe, yeah, to be generally safe and to return back to the country in one piece, yeah. Okay, convey emotions, attitudes, and social cues, but may not provide specific details or explicit information. That is nonverbal. All right. An example could be when a person is crying. They're not able to express themselves why they're crying, explicit information on the severity of the issue that they are upset about, or what had happened to cause such remorse, such grief. And they are just crying, bawling their eyes out. So that is all part of nonverbal, where you're not being able to get information out of your client, out of whoever you're talking with, but you're just seeing them express it through their facials, through crying, okay, wailing, or probably they might have, I wouldn't say shortness of breath or anxiety attacks, but that is affected if their mental health is affected, if they're drawn into the depression, if they're too sad, it triggers them to have a panic attack. Boom. And then they probably can't tell you that they're having a panic attack, and they start hyperventilating. They just, but they've never been an asthma patient. So you're like, this person is an asthmatic, but they're not breathing well. And they're just trying to show you that chest is getting, okay, that is a non-verbal expression. Okay, moving on to components of the verbal communication. Tone of voice, like in here talked about, refers to the way we use our voice to convey meaning. For example, a sarcastic tone of voice can convey that the speaker is not being sincere, while a warm and friendly tone can convey that the speaker is approachable and trustworthy. Your tone sets the atmosphere in the caregiving setting. Everyone here is a professional at whatever profession that they do, whether you're a teacher, okay, whether you do a desk job, whether you're out in the farm, whether you are whatever job that you do, there is a certain tone you use at the office and not at home. Okay, there's a tone you use on your wife when you want something. Okay, there's a certain tone that you have toned down to when you talk to your husband when you want recharge. Priyanka, stop laughing, but yes, that is the truth. That's how human beings are. And when you're walking into the care setting, what is the tone that you want to set with your client? What kind of atmosphere would you want to set for your client to be comfortable with you, right? Okay, inflection refers to your own observations, because if you're an observant individual, just by the tone of a voice, how a person is approaching you, this one's about to ask me something, okay? Just by their tense of their chest when they're walking towards me. When they're walking towards me, I can see that they're tense and they're about to ask me a question. But when they verbally communicate, they're talking about something else. But I know there's something wrong. But that goes for observation. And this has to do with your sentence structure, with how your voice sounds. Because you could be like, does anybody have any questions? Okay. Does anybody have any questions? So I am anticipating that you have any questions. But if I have a clear statement, I will be flat forward. My that inflation, don't you ever hear someone talk and when they ask, does anyone have questions? You don't feel the need to ask questions because the environment isn't friendly enough for you to ask. You know, if you're going to put your hand up, you know, if you're going to talk, it's going to be so hostile. Like, this is not the place where I want to learn. This is not the place I want to ask a question. Because of the way that they have set the sentence structure off, do you have a question? It's all psychological as well. And the importance of you learning this is when you're speaking to your client, for you to be aware of this, so you can be able to trigger response. If you're not any response, probably it's the way that you are asking questions. It's wrong. It's not triggering a response in them. All this inflation step. Okay, volume refers to how loudly or soft-spoken we speak. It can convey confidence, authority, and assertiveness. For example, speaking loudly can convey confidence and authority. Speaking softly can convey intimacy and vulnerability. I think Priyanka, because when you want Richard, you speak very softly. When you want something else, then you'll be like, eh, da, 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 da. So your volume of your voice, okay? All the married people here will understand what we're all talking about. So that's just basically life as it is. We've seen our grandparents grow up in it, our parents grow up in it, of how they have communicated with our fathers, and navigating through your life. And when you meet your partner, navigating through the life. Navigating through life, and then you have your own marriage, you have your own partner, and then you realize certain communication skills that your parents did, it won't work out in this relationship. Why? Because that is not your dad and you are not your mom. That's why it won't work out. 2, times have changed. People are now more open to talking about their feelings, okay? The level of intimacy that your parents shared with each other probably would not be the same with your spouse. So yes, certain areas do need the same level of communication and there is a level of understanding, but you can't really copy the same thing, because if you do, if your parents had a great marriage, then good, you can copy, you can get, but if they have probably a devastating divorce or issues left, right, and center, and if you try and bring that, cultivate that in the now, you will get the same results. Okay, that is one of the how people convey messages, even when their children is watching. Okay, what messages are we relaying to our children by the way that we talk to our partner? That is it okay to speak in this tone? Is it okay to wear these certain clothes? Is it okay to have this certain group of friends at this certain age? You are subconsciously communicating with your children, this is okay. You are subconsciously communicating with the community that I am this kind of person. I am upright. I am an honest person. Okay. I don't do that. So that's why we're not going to entertain that. So everything about you is a form of communication. So we talked about components, which is the tone of voice, your inflection, and the volume. Non-verbal and verbal. Okay, language. Another one is gestures. Okay, the components. Okay, the pace refers to the speed at which we speak. It can convey excitement, urgency, and impatience. For example, speaking quickly can convey excitement and urgency, while speaking slowly can convey thoughtfulness and deliberation. All right. So the pace of how you are to talk, how you are to relay the message, because when you're talking to your aged care clients, your pace has to be like this, slow, concise, accurate, and straight to the point. Hey, Bonnie, I noticed that you weren't taking your medication. Do you not like it with the pudding, or do you like it mixed with something else? Is there something wrong? But if you were to, hey Bonnie, I'm sure you're not taking your medication. There's something really wrong here. What can we do about this? Bonnie, who is actually 95 years old, is still trying to process the information. He just said, hey, he's still stuck at hey Bonnie, and you already reached 1, 2, 3, 4. And hey Bonnie, and then skip to the part, what can we do? She says, go for a walk. And you take Bonnie for a walk. Okay, your pace determines how well your client can process the information that you give. The intensity refers to the level of emotional energy that we put in our words. It can convey passion, enthusiasm, and conviction. For example, speaking with intensity can convey a strong belief in something, while speaking with low intensity can convey ambivalence or lack of interest. Okay, how you talk about if you want Bonnie to have their medication, if it's an emphasis that they have to take it, okay, how you speak about it with Bonnie, okay, sets the tone on how important this is, and Bonnie will be like, okay, I need to be able to take this. This is it. Okay, this is different from how we talked about the volume, how we talked about soft, from soft to rough, not rough, to soft to, hold on, yeah, loud, sorry, loud to be confidence and authority, assertiveness. That was the word I was looking for. Okay, all the intensity, it refers to your enthusiasm, your passion, because when you show passion to your client, the importance of what you're doing, them taking their medication, they will take it really seriously and just go for it. Okay, and take you seriously. Okay, barriers of verbal communication that we had talked about earlier is lacking clarity and consistency as a straightforward and consistent manner to avoid confusion. Transparency, open and honest communication fosters trust between patients and healthcare providers. Accessibility and inclusivity, communication should be tailored to meet the diverse needs of the patient, including those with language barriers, limited literacy, or disabilities. Okay, lacking of clarity and consistency. Two of the reasons why is there need for effective communication. Two main reasons is to be able to. Can anyone tell me what is the two main reasons that we had discussed? Two main reasons for communication.
Body language.
Yes, Priyanka?
Body language.
Body language is a form of communication. What is the main purpose of effective communication? We had talked about it.
To share the
Send
verbal
message to be
and
clear and hear correctly.
Hear correctly and to be able to
say
said that,
properly
Mary?
and listen properly.
And clearly.
Verbal.
Okay. To be able to hear properly and to be able to speak.
Speak.
Two main reasons, yes. To be able to be concise and clear and to be able to hear and to be attentive. See, class, it's just been 1 hour. Okay, so I think we just have a 5-minute break. Just walk around, stretch, drink water before we come back and we finish our slides for today, okay? So we just up to, we're up to 18. Okay, doing well. So just 5 minutes and then we'll come back. We'll come back with our discussion, okay? Stretch, go drink water, okay?
Lai, ko time to myself ba tao? Ang boat like karo. Ha? Ang boat like karo tum aca-aca kau. Tu aca eh. Am like kau ro aca. One day at a time. Everyone.
Fine. That is why catching their attention through a non-verbal contact, through putting your finger in the front, to tapping them, is a really good way of catching their attention. And that was explained really well. And how Avi had talked about the cultural aspect of what a sign may mean something else in a different culture, which is important, which we've discussed with, and that's important for you to do your homework and your research. And thank you so much, Ravina, for the discussion on body language as well. Thank you, guys. Group 3, are you guys ready with your discussion?
Yes, madam.
Okay, Priyanka, take it away.
Thank you, madam. I really didn't saw the question, but I just saw that we have to present something on special needs. How to handle, communicate with people who are specially needed.
Yes, Ravina, sorry, Priyanka, it's communication with special needs, but based on the hearing imperatives and cognitive decline and language barrier on those certain areas.
Okay, madam. Yes, thank you, madam. Good evening to everybody. When we are dealing with people who have special needs, first of all, we have to first observe that client. The way we will present ourselves to the client, that's the most important thing. When we are talking to them, when we are speaking to them, we should avoid shouting. When we are in some of the perspectives, when we are somewhere, we have to involve ourselves in that environment. When we are going to a patient, we have to leave everything behind, our fighting or anything that was our mood, we're back. We have to avoid shouting. We have to have non-verbal communications. We have to always maintain eye contact and use facial impressions. We have to always sit in front of them, eye contact, them what we really want to show them. Tailor communications. Always face them and talk, so that if they're having hearing problem, they can see whatever we have to do with our facial expressions. If we have Down syndrome patients, they are very hard to handle. We have to always create a calm environment for those. We have to always use visual aids, drawings or something to show them and say that we are going to do this, do that. We have to always be flexible. We have to always adjust our way we approach them, our communicating style. Our cultural sensitivity also comes here. If we have for example, an Indian patient client, then we like touching feet, and then we please like that. And if we have a Fijian client, we Carry, please, can you sit down? Carry. And improved gestures. We always have to have a proper body languages, like our facial expressions. When we want to borrow something, we have that puppy face, please, like that. Anybody from group 2 wants to contribute more? That's it, madam.
Thank you so much for that, Priyanka, on your discussion that you had talked about cultural insensitivity and tailoring the communication, and how you used a Down syndrome patient as an example with special needs, which is really interesting. And I like the fact that you said tailored, you use that word tailored in there. And that is how caregiving is the center of. Caregiving is basically care center plan. Tailoring your information from group 1, group 2, group 3. Thank you so much. And you guys have a vast form of information that you have shared with us today. But what I want you guys to take back with you is the fact that each of this communication that you have discussed, its various forms, through verbal, non-verbal, through gestures, through your tone, all of that, take it back and practice it in whatever setting that you come from, whether it's at home, whether it's at work. Okay, try it out with your spouse, try it out with your family members, changing your tone. Okay, before you go out there. And Priyanka had talked about having issues, and whatever happens, and you just have to move on with the work. Which is precise and true. In any workforce, you are not supposed to bring in personal grudges or anything into providing care. Okay, when you're providing care, remember, your atmosphere will affect your client. So whatever you're carrying, whether it's a negative conversation you had earlier, whether it was a dispute, whether you had profound news given to you at unfortunate time, okay, whatever it is, that is something that is off the table, and you need to come in with a renewed spirit, with renewed mind, to be able to provide the efficient care, to be able to communicate effectively. Okay, because how can you show a body language of care if you're tensed up? You probably is still playing the conversations in your mind, therefore your whole body is tensed up. All right. So effective communication doesn't only deal with you sending out a precise message, but how are you getting a response? Okay. Is the response from your client, do they respond to you? Are they nodding? Or does it look like they're not sending back any signs, any form of understanding? Okay. Just like we had talked about in our notes, if you're just talking and there is no form of response, then that is just you sending messages. That is not a conversation. That's just you sending messages. So thank you so much on your discussions on identifying, on relaying messages, but make sure that your client is also responding. Make sure that the message that you sent out is accepted. All right, guys? So thank you so much for that discussion. And then tomorrow we will move on to, we'll finish with barriers and we'll move on to different styles of verbal communications. Okay?
We have class tomorrow?
Sorry, tomorrow is Friday. Next week, Monday.
Thank God it's
Yes, I forgot. I thought like tomorrow was an extra Wednesday. So tomorrow, then I will be sending out your quiz, your third quiz. I don't want to stress you guys too much. Urinary, the urinary and the reproductive and the changes of the heart. Please attempt the other two quizzes that I've already sent out. I sent one on Tuesday, sent one on Wednesday. I will send one tomorrow, which will be due next week, Friday. So the one on Tuesday will be due next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, next week, Wednesday, and the one I'll be sending out on Friday will be due next week, Friday. All right, guys?
Noted, madam.
And I will also be sending you guys notes from Friday for next week. We will have just another discussion on communication, and then we're moving on to 4, 5, 6. It'll be just a breeze. Before you know it, we're talking about your practical sessions. So yeah.
Ma'am, I know you've mentioned this before, but the second quiz, the topic covered is, what was it again?
The first one was the skin, nervous system, and endocrine system. The third one is the lymphatic system, digestive system, and the lymphatic, digestive. I'm not sure if it's the lymphatic. Wait, hold on. Let me pull it up if you guys haven't seen it. Hopefully. No.
So
Hold on, guys. It's spirituality. Hold on, I'll pull it up for you guys if you guys haven't seen it. Oh my gosh. Not that one. Lymphatic system. Man, I'm just digestive system and the yeah. Hopefully it's this one. Okay, no, that's the skin one. So you guys have seen this one, eh? You guys have already attempted this. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah, it is so slow. Okay, these are the responses. So
We haven't done that, but we have received that.
okay, so I think only 6 have attempted. Don't worry, those are not the official scores. I will have to release the scores. Please do not panic. I will go through them and release the scores.
Madam, all these questions are multiple choice, eh?
Yes, it's all multiple choice. So you're not supposed to use, and it's easy. Come on, it's 44 questions.
Thank you.
Madam, just one question.
Okay, ask. Hey, and can you guys on your camera if I feel like I'm talking to myself?
Madam, since I have attended, I think module 2, and then the end score was 0 out of 44.
No, I will be releasing the quiz. the answers, guys. I will be releasing it later. For me, it's for me. It's for the school. But if you have failed, and then I will be messaging you privately, and then we will assign you with some other stuff. So yeah.
So the 0, it means that the answers were not there.
No, it's there. It's just I did not release results.
Ruby, you look so beautiful.
Okay, hide your wives. Digestive system. Yeah, write your notes. Digestive system. Lymphatic system. Hey, my internet is slow today. And oh man, so sorry guys. My internet is just urinary system.
Madam, climb the coconut tree. I'm on top of the coconut tree.
See on your camera so we can see you telling the truth.
She's
so there's 2 responses. So 2 people have attempted this.
Oi, wow, too good.
So 2 people have attempted this, and then I will release your quiz tomorrow. For the other, that will be the end of module 2. Okay?
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes.
Thank you, madam.
So lymphatic system, digestive system, and the urinary system. So the next quiz tomorrow will be the changes in the heart, respiratory system, and the reproductive system.
Happy holiday, guys.
Yeah. So I'll send that tomorrow. Or you guys want it next week, Monday? You guys all look stressed.
Next week, Monday.
Good.
We want to enjoy the Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, please attempt Monday or 2. And then I will send the other one, because I'll be just waiting up for the last one. It's easy, guys. Don't worry. So 2 people have sent that. I think for the second one, I have released the scores. Yes, Eli Kimi.
Yeah, that's non-verbal communication. See, guys, that's what we discussed today.
Hi, Ravina.
Okay.
See?
Ma'am, I just want to...
Hey, Ravina, nice to see you.
Thank you, Ruby.
On
Nice
our
to see you.
camera,
Yeah, make it compulsory.
Yo, we have to on our camera so we can see each other. Only Eli Kimi and Ruby on the camera.
Okay,
I just want a question. Yes, Eli Kimi, yes.
Ma'am, I think we should set our rules in classroom rules. Everyone on our camera during class, and raise your hand if you want to say something, and mute your mic while the session is continued, while ma'am is presenting.
Yes.
So that will be our class rule. And ma'am, I just want to highlight to our class our topic today about communication, because I think it's really interesting, because through communication you will know your client better. So according to my client, ma'am, and everyone, we are all study hard to become a caregiver, and keep in mind and notice down that you receive more non-verbal communication or more sign language from your patient instead of giving. So you will receive more than giving. Okay? So in order to understand your patient better, you have to know their verbal communication better. So sometimes our patient will never tell us straight away what they want. Maybe they are numb, or maybe they forgot. You should know from their accent what they have been into, what they've been going through. You can say from the accent then they've been going through something and they really need help, or they want this, or they want that. So keep in mind that communication is a very interesting topic and a very important topic, that only the way you can get close and know your patient much better.
That is
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much for that, Eli Kimi. And yes, I think that is really important. Like he talked about wanting to be a caregiver, communication is very, very important. And wow, and like he said, verbal, non-verbal, you will be receiving it more than giving it. And I think that has to do with various clients. Different clients have things, and Eli Kimi really knows his client really well on how they communicate in order to get their point across. So back to our care center plan, knowing your client, how they communicate, what they want, really important. And yes, thank you so much for that, Eli Kimi. And I think Kahira said, I think the client went out of the room without verbal communication. Kahira, please,
Yes,
can you
because
open,
the
can you on
boss
your
is
camera?
busy.
Kahira, you can on your camera so we
I
can
just
see your face.
saw Ilikini's client going out without saying anything.
We want to see the culprit behind the comment. Can you on your camera, Kahira?
Madam, apologies. We cannot on the camera every time. If I on the camera in the bus, three people will want to contribute their ideas.
Okay. See, lots of excuses from Priyanka, eh? Okay.
No, ma'am, once I get my car back, I'll run, show the road. Show the coconut tree I always climb on.
Don't know people. Okay.
I of the would like to pass my sincere condolences.
Ruby, you just like one news presenter from FBC.
Who's that? Priyanka is talking. That's Priyanka.
Yes.
And the camera not on.
Ma'am, that's what we call.
Madam, I'm in
Ma'am,
the
that's what we
temple.
call.
I'm in the temple and I'm sitting in the toilet right at the moment.
Ma'am,
Oh no.
this is what we call hypertension, right? Because it's coming to the end of the session. It's coming to the end of the class. We are coming to the end of the discussion of today's class, and everyone is supposed to go for the last
Focus
day
on your client. She
this
already
week
went out. You're going to look after her.
and the weekend.
Go and look
So now she's getting hyper.
for her.
So hypertension. Getting old before you aged.
Oh my gosh. He went. Okay. Without holding you
Going to
guys
look
back,
for
I
your
will see
client.
this. Oh, really?
See, we are helping you look after your client. There, she went to the toilet. Go.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I want to say something.
Yes, you can say something, Ruby.
You know, it's like we're doing it all. It'll be nice for us to, you know, one day just, you know, meet up in person. No?
Yeah.
You know, it'll be
Get
nice.
together.
Yes, we'll get together. I've met Ravina. We met at a temple. That's where me and Ravina met. We met at the temple in where did we meet? Samapula.
Samapula.
Yes.
Samapula.
That's where me and like in his face is like, what were you doing? Community work. Service.
Confused
Okay.
saranga.
Yes. Okay, so I will see you guys next week Monday, and I will send you a quiz next week Monday, okay? You can enjoy your weekend, only focus on 2 quizzes. Next week and only 1 quiz Monday. And the following week I will send module 3 quiz, okay guys?
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Just because of Ruby said that we have
too good.
Because Ruby said we have to meet in person, I think ma'am should give some extra note through reproductive system so that everyone can stay alert.
This is why I don't on my video, because my eyes roll.
Rolling on the ocean, rolling on the sea.
Next week Monday, everyone on their camera. Priyanka, Kahira, Shelly, Mary, man. I meet all these people just quiet and listening to us. Okay, I see you guys next week Monday. All the best. Stay safe in the weekend. Please come back in one piece. On no black eye. One arm so like this, please.
Ma'am, no
Get my
cheating.
ladder, I have to climb down.
No cheating conversation to be put on the comment section. See, those people, they are cheating.
Too much complaint. Too much complaint. Please go to the Lautoka police station.
Man, Priyanka. Okay. You guys have a safe one. See you guys again next week. Bye. Thank you, Lakimi. Thank you, Ili, Ravina, Ruby, Priyanka, Avi, Shelly, Marian, Kahira, Sangeeta, and Isne. Thank you, guys. See you guys next week.
I have to climb down. Get my ladder.
Jump.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a blessed